Hey guys, how's it going? So last time kept on working on the transport network, and I was primarily working on the junction detection. I went ahead and tweaked the detection code, and it seems to be working reasonably well. It's fairly accurate. So now if I sorry, at different networks, we're detecting those junctions. If we go through the middle, not getting too many locations that are at the same place, so that's working pretty well. And I can still go through the different types of networks. So what I want to do today is focus more on joining continuous splines. So at the moment, if I do it like this and continue building like so, what it's actually doing is creating multiple separate splines. But what we'd actually want it to do is combine this into one spline. Later on, the plan will be to, when we detect the junctions, we'll split the splines at that point. And that will be the kind of sequence. When we add a new segment, like so, we'll first check if it can be combined, and then we'll run the junction detection afterwards. And then if there's a junction, we'll split the splines and create segments for each of those actual sections. That's kind of the plan there. So at the moment, in the network manager, we just straight up create a new segment. But really what we want to do is create the spline first, run through the existing segments. Actually, I'll show you on here. So where we're looking up here, yeah. So from the target info that came from the build game playability, we'll generate a spline component, and we already have the method available for that. We'll then loop through each of the existing segments under each for each network actor. We'll create a can append spline method on our network segment actor, passing in the new spline component. We'll check if the endpoint is the same. That actually goes here, so that won't need to do that because that'll be covered already. So then if they can be joined, we'll then call the network segments append spline, passing in the generate spline, and that will then update the existing spline for that segment, joining the two together, and then destroy the new spline because we won't need it after that. So to break it down a little bit, I'm going to create some helper methods in the utility library. So at the moment we have this one here for checking overlapping splines. So I think we'll make the yeah, so there will be a separate one which this will actually call. So create this here. So static and this is going to take a pointer to the two splines. Then we should have a threshold. Let's say 25. Okay, so that should be okay. So what do we need to do? So we need to get the last point of the first one. And get the location. Okay. Get the location of the first point of the second spline. Okay, and then check the distance between them. Is less than the pin distance. And if it is, return true. Cool. So that should be easy enough. So we'll do a few checks first. First, you check if they are actually the same item. Then check if they're valid. And maybe log a message. Then we should also check the number of points they have. actually. Right. None. Spline points. First line. Cause. Because there's no point in us doing this if the spline points are 0. Okay, so now we can get the spline there. So that's going to be number of spline points minus 1, that should give us the index. And that's given us a spline point. Oh, a spline point, okay. Get the location. Okay. Yeah, so on the first line, get the point at the number of points minus 1 to give us the last one in index, and then get the location. Then the second one should just be index 0. And check the distance. check where it's less than the pen distance. Return true. Return false. And we can probably just do this. That's probably fine. Then we can just ditch that. Ditch that. Okay, so check they're both valid. Check they're not the same one. Get the number of points for the first one, number of points for the second one. Check that neither of those are 0. Get the end point of the first spline. Get the first point of the second spline. And then check that the positions of those are less than or equal to the append distance. Cool. So that should be fine. Build that. Okay, cool. So that's what we need there. Then we'll create a static void append splines. So this will be the method that actually appends the two together. That'll be the spline that is appended to the base spline. That should be pretty much it, really. So this one I did get some help with. If I pull that up quickly. Let's see. Yeah, so let's take a look at this code here then. So again, the pointers to the two splines. Check they're valid. Get the number of points on both. Last point index. Tangent at spline point. So just getting the tangent at the last point of the sort of base spline. Then getting the tangent of the first point. Averaging out the two tangents together. So then setting the blended tangent to the last point of the base spline. And then in the loop, disregarding index 0. And just, getting the location and tangent from the appending spline, and then adding those to the base spline. Okay, that all kind of makes sense. What we're going to do, we're going to go to edit, gives us a nice clear screen. But as always, I'm not going to copy it word for word, just going to use that as a bit of a guide. They are not the same splines. Okay. So number of spline points on the base spline. So then get the tangent of that. Then get the same and spline first tangent. Okay, then average those two out. And actually want to average out the location of the two as well. And then just like last thing, we can average those out together by adding them together, then divide by 2. Cool. That's fine. We can update that on the base mesh. Oh. Leave tangent, arrive tangent. So now we'll just do the same, I guess. so we shouldn't have to call update spline. Set location at spline point. Okay, so now we loop through the points of the second spline. Skipping index 0 because we've already adjusted the last point of the base spline. Now we should just be adding that to the existing spline. And then we just add that. Let's see. Okay. So we're just getting the index of that point we just added. It's a shame there's not a way of doing it directly, but never mind. That's why. Hold on. So what do we need here? Index. shouldn't need to call this, but just for now. Okay, and then the append spline can be destroyed. Okie dokie, so that's that done. So we now have a means of checking if the splines can be appended, and a means to actually append the new spline. Now we can utilize those. Okay, so we're going to create this method now. We're kind of done with that for now. That's pretty much going to be the same. And this as well. I'll just copy this. Key, do that. Actually, no, we want to do this on the network actors. Take that. Here. That there for now. Then the network manager. Instead of calling that, okay, network. So instead of them directly trying to create a new segment, we'll call the method update network. And now let's actually just make sure that's been called. Should see in the output log. Cool. Okay, good. Okay. And we can get rid of that for now. Which means also we'll worry about that later. What we'll probably want to do is return, so actually we keep this similar and call this updated segment. And we'll change the method to return a segment. So that will work as normal. Take that. That. So that should be valid. Get rid of that. Yeah, so that functionality will work the same in the network manager. So we'll call the update network. It'll get an updated segment, or it'll just be the new one. And then we'll still run the junction section using that update segment, so that can stay the same. I'll just do that. Okey-dokey. So what do we need this to do? So we'll create the new spline component. Okay. And have a method already created for that in the utility library. No, wait, this is... Oh yeah, no, this is correct. So first swing is up then. Oh no, we've actually already got network segments here, so that's fine. So let's create the spline first. This one. Hold on. And there is that one. So from the target info, control, and okay, that's valid. Okie, cool. So now we need to go through all the existing segments. Network segments. So now the segment needs those methods. and this should just use its segment spline. Okay. That's fine. I can just do that. So in the network item, if network segment can append segment new spline, let's rename that, can append to segment. Then append spline to segment. And that should be 10 splines, segment spline, and spline, just like so. Then we can call that here. And return okay. If not, so we'll return at that point if we append to a current one. If not, we're going to create a new segment and return that. Cool. So that should be working. The last thing to do is, so we can actually view this, just see where we currently, let's build this, make sure it's all good. So I just want to update the way we debug draw it, because we're handling it a little bit differently now. Because yeah, at the moment, just create a spline, a debug line along the spline. So it's going to be the best way to do that. So I won't call it there anymore. So we want to draw it whenever we update. So what we'll do is do it actually. Yeah, let's do it. Actually no, because we're already going to return at that point. So at the moment we shouldn't see any splines. We should just see the junction detection. We should be able to use, just for now, there's a console command to show splines. There we go. Okay. There we go. Cool. Oh, cool. Is that working? Yeah, it is. I think it is. No, I don't think it is. Let's just make sure the junction detection is still working, so that's fine. Maybe just increase the threshold for that. Let's just bump that up for now. And let's just give ourselves a do that. So we've increased the distance, and that will combine two splines, and then little log 1 in there, so we can see if it's at least registering those. So go back, console command, show splines. No, so it's not passing the check to append these. Ah, but that is. Okay, interesting. But it seems to be going for the wrong point here. It's appending to that point there, which is kind of interesting. That's working. Yes, it seems to be roughly working, just a bit buggy. So at least from this point, and kind of roughly that point, it's making a continuous spline. And now if I, oh, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, so detecting a junction there. Oh. Cool. So the other thing that I just noticed there, it didn't detect a junction here, which kind of makes sense because at the moment the junction detection tries to check if we're looking at the same spline, but actually we might need to update that, but we'll cross that bridge next. Yeah, that seems to be working. Cool, so let's just double check this code here. So get the number of spline points on the first one, yeah. Number of spline points on the second one. First spline endpoint. Num spline points, first spline -1. Yeah, that should be correct, because that's 0 indexed, I believe. Then the first point, yep. Yeah, it must just be the distance then. It shouldn't really be any different, but whatever. Let's increase that for now. See what that does for us. But it seems to be mostly working. That's a little bit. I'll probably have to tweak some numbers, I guess. Just play around with that. And then revisit the junction detection system. Oh. So show splines. Build. Yeah, so it doesn't seem to work on. Oh yeah, it's doing that weird thing again where it looks like it's connecting to the second to last spline. It's kind of weird. But then after that, it seems to it seems to work okay after that point. So I create another one. Yeah, so it always seems to do it on the first one. Okay. And then the junction detection still working. That's good. Yeah. Cool. Okay, cool. So on the next one, we'll need to try and fix that little bug where the first join is going to the second to last point. I'll then want to update the junction detection. So for example, now if I keep making this a continuous loop, it should detect a junction on itself and then split. whereas at the moment we skip when it's the same spline. Then we'll add the functionality to actually split the splines, and that's kind of why we're doing the junction detection first. And the idea will then be to split these splines at the junctions and make them individual segments. And then finally we'll be getting close to getting the foundation of the road building done. But I think for today that should be all good. Kind of done what I wanted to achieve today, which was kind of get the continuous splines going, and it's roughly working, so I'm cool with that. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Cheers.